This is Mark Gunn Media.
Hit it!
Welcome to Gunshots Straight from the Hip. I'm your host, Mark Gunn. The views expressed on this program are those of the host and guests and not necessarily reflective of anyone or any entity associated with this broadcast. This episode, America. Why are you surprised? As of this recording, the Trump administration is engaged in something that's as American as apple pie. The forcible kidnapping of children from their parents.
Thousands of migrant children being separated from their parents. You can hear their desperation. Kids crying for their parents.
Now, this isn't anything new because it's very much a part of the character of this nation. You did it during slavery, and you sold those little black bodies, didn't you? You did it to Native Americans in the guise of boarding schools. What? The blankets with smallpox weren't enough? And we can't forget about World War II and the Japanese internment camps. Basically, anyone who wasn't white was given America's hospitality whether they wanted it or not. And according to Attorney General Jefferson Beauregard Sessions, this is supposed to be a deterrent to those trying to enter the country illegally. And the racist little bastard had the nerve to try to use the Bible to justify it all, just as America did to justify chattel slavery.
And I would cite you to the Apostle Paul and his clear and wise command in Romans 13 to obey the laws of the government because God has ordained the government for his purposes.
The other justification for Trump's zero-tolerance policy, according to Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristen Nielsen, is Obama did it too.
The Obama administration, the Bush administration, all separated families at the. They did. Their rate was less than ours, but they absolutely did do this.
No, they didn't. Not in this monstrous fashion anyway. Were families separated from time to time? Yes, but only in those cases where human trafficking was involved or the people with the child weren't actually that child's parents. Once those cases were cleared up, the families were reunited. Trump has no plan to reunite these kids with these families. In fact, it's estimated that some 2,000 kids have already gone missing. And according to a former head of ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, hundreds of separated kids will never be reunited with their parents because of being lost in the system. As if all of this weren't bad enough, Trump continues to lie by saying that Democrats set all of this into motion and they can stop it. All it would take is an immigration bill that would fully fund that stupid wall. In short, no wall, no kids. Now, there's a lot of reaction on both sides of the political spectrum, and normally I'd give you some insight as to what Trump supporters are thinking. But I'm not going to do that because I simply don't give a damn about what they think. Republicans are scrambling to try to find a way out of this because of the bad optics. And once again, to quote Samantha Bee,
do something, you feckless.
I couldn't care less about these feckless. After all, they are responsible for what's happening now. Their fear of Trump prevents them from keeping him in check. Their fear of being voted out of office keeps them from acting. Everyone from Mitch McConnell to Paul Ryan and everyone in between has blood on their hands. If you are a Republican and you held your nose while voting for Trump, you're just as responsible, and your speaking out now is just as meaningless. Besides, 55% of you support this blatant violation of human rights. Speaking of which, did you know that the U.S. just pulled out of the United Nations Human Rights Council on June 19th? Juneteenth? The day that marked the end of slavery? With a great deal of sarcasm, I say. How ironic. Trump advisor Stephen Miller, the white supremacist in chief and owner of the world's most punchable face, says that they enjoy the angry response they're getting, and they vow to double down on their efforts. Now, one of the other lies that they continue to tell is that if only immigrants would go to one of the designated entry points, they could plead their case for asylum. Problem is that quite a few of those entry points aren't letting anyone do that.
In the border town of Nogales, Mexico, the other side of this gate is the United States. And right next to the gate, sitting on the ground, are migrant families, living and sleeping outside, hoping to be allowed to proceed just a few more feet into America. As other people with passports and documents pass through the gate, these migrant families wait and hope for what is known as a credible fear interview with U.S. Customs and Border Protection. They say only one person has been called in for an interview all day.
Now, here's the sickest part of all of this.
The AP has just broken some new news. This has just come out from the Associated Press. This is incredible. Trump administration officials have been sending babies and other young children. Oh, hold on. To at least 3. Can we put up the graphic of this? Thank you. Do we have it? No. 3 tender age shelters in South Texas. Lawyers and medical providers. I think I'm going to have to hand this off. Yeah. Sorry. That does it for us tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow. Now it is time for the last word with Lawrence O'Donnell, where he is live in Brownsville, Texas.
When someone who's as objective, cool, calm, and collected as Rachel Maddow can't hold it together, you know something is really, really wrong. My wife, who cannot stand politics, was in tears, and there are millions more just like her. Now, the mistake Trump and his jackbooted brown shirts are making, among the many that they continue to make, is that they've taken what they wanted to be a political issue and they've made it extremely personal. The folks that are speaking out against them aren't doing so along party lines. These are parents first and foremost, and as far as they're concerned, you're messing with their kids, no matter where those kids come from. In another development that happened as I was writing this, Trump, in an effort to save face, signed a, quote, executive order ending the separation of children from families. However, the order isn't worth the paper it's printed on because there's still no plan to reunite these kids with their parents. They still plan on acting on the zero tolerance policy, which means more and more immigrants will be arrested with their families. And the Trump administration actually thinks that they can use this as a wedge issue to win in the midterms this November.
These aren't people. These are animals. And we're taking them out of the country at a level and at a rate that's never happened before.
Believe me, this is not over. By the way, there are lots of people and politicians saying, quote, this is not who we are. Stop it. This is exactly who America is. You proved it when you decided that Trump's racism and xenophobia were acceptable, and you elected him anyway. People are organizing protests, but that's not nearly enough. We know the outrage. We're feeling it every second. But executive order or not, we've got to do something that I've personally never done and thought that I would never do, because it goes against a very rigid set of beliefs. I'll tell you what that is right after this. This episode brought to you by thelocalplug502.com, a comprehensive website designed as a guide to a Louisville you may not know about. The best places for food, drinks, and fun, all off the beaten path. Thelocalplug502.com was designed by a professional in the hospitality industry, so you get the real deal when it comes to places to go and things to do. This ain't your local boring Chamber of Commerce website. So if you really want to get to know the city, or if you plan on coming to Louisville anytime soon, check out thelocalplug502.com. If you're an advertiser, one of the most important things about getting your message out is actually standing out from the rest of the crowd. If you're listening to this program right now, this is where you'd hear your commercial. As an exclusive sponsor of Gunshots Straight from the Hip, your commercial is professionally produced and gets a longer shelf life based on your needs. Gunshots Straight from the Hip is a unique and compelling program unlike anything else in the marketplace. Episodes are available for download on iTunes, TuneIn, and MarkGunMedia.com. And depending on how you tailor your message, the potential for new and repeat customers is that much greater. Best of all, it's extremely cost-effective. If you'd like more information on how you can be a sponsor of this broadcast, call Mark Gun Media, Inc. at 502-407-0283. That's 502-407-0283. Or log on to markgunmedia.com. For downloads of this and past episodes and information about all the multimedia services we offer, log on to our website at www.markgunmedia.com. That's markgunmedia.com. Welcome back to Gunshots Straight from the Hip. We're talking about the Trump administration and its zero-tolerance immigration policy that allows kids as young as 1 month old to be taken, kidnapped from their parents. Now, before the break, I was saying that in order to stop this, we've got to do something that I personally thought that I would never do. But because of the severity of what's going on, it may have to be done. We may not have any other choice. Now, as some of you may know, I'm a registered independent. I left the Democrat Party back in 2016 because of what I saw as the duplicitous nature of the DNC and the Hillary Clinton campaign. Before then, I was a registered Reagan Republican, socially liberal, fiscally conservative. I left that party when it became clear that it saw blackness as a liability. Now, the one thing I've never done, no matter the party, was to vote straight down party lines. Because of the criminality of the Trump administration and the cowardice of the GOP that continues to look the other way, I may well end up voting a straight Democratic ticket this November. Here's the thing. Although there are a lot of Republicans that spoke out against Trump on this issue, it was those same Republicans that stood idly by while the racist in chief said about his current path of destruction. You can't speak out now because you fear the midterms. Too late. Come November, if voters are smart, they'll pull a Vince McMahon WWE move and wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors.
Oh, wait. This thing working? Yeah!
Yeah, I'm a mark. Got a problem with that? Bottom line is that the Republican majorities in the House and Senate must be dismantled. And as much contempt as I have for the DNC, a democratically controlled Congress may be the only way to begin to stop the bloodletting. For the first time as a voter, I don't think, like I said, there's any other choice. Donald Trump and the Republican Party must be stopped. Plain and simple. By the way, the Russia investigation is still going on, and it looks like his lawyer, Michael Cohen, may flip. And oh yeah, Robert Mueller continues to hand out indictments like Pez. For now, while babies are still being snatched from their parents, it's up to you to contact your legislators, and don't take no for an answer. Trump seems to think that, like I said earlier, he can win on this issue. If this country wants to begin to establish itself on a moral high ground that it never has, and wants to show the world that this is not who America is, prove it. Make sure that there isn't a single Republican candidate that survives the midterms. Vote like your child's life depended on it. Chances are, it might. You've been listening to Gunshots Straight from the Hip. The views expressed are those of the host and guests and not reflective of any business entity or anyone associated with this broadcast. If you have any comments or want more information on how to be a sponsor, log on to our website at markgunmedia.com or call us at 502-407-0283. That's 502-407-0283. Thank you for listening.
Mark Gun Media. No hype, no hoopla, just damn good work.